Mount Sinai, the structure that many Clevelanders remember and which we have now lost, really dates back to the late 1800s to the Ladies Hebrew Charitable Association.
The women actually began collecting money without, believe it or not, a purpose. And they went to a community leader of the day, Herman Sampliner, and they said, "What shall we do with the funds we've been able to raise?" And he said, "Build a hospital."
They raised $600,000 to build this hospital.
To build a hospital like that today would cost somewhere near $500 million. When we think about why the people of that time might have built a Jewish hospital, there are a number of reasons. First of all, anti-Semitism was quite prevalent at that time, and Jewish doctors-to-be couldn't get in medical schools very well. And when they did finish, they found it hard to find a comfortable, welcoming place to do their training.
Mount Sinai, though, was non-sectarian, because from day one, its clientele was Jewish and Gentile. So its doors were wide open. And I think that's one of the reasons that we miss Mount Sinai so much, because it served the community.
Mount Sinai was a safety net hospital and was perhaps the largest provider of private care to the poor in the entire state of Ohio.
I know when there were plans to move Mount Sinai to the east in the 1980s, I believe, the community around here, which was largely African American, said, "No, don't move our hospital." So this is what grew out of that $600,000 investment in 1915.
The time capsule was really a seed planted, and that seed grew and grew into what most have regarded as a first-tier community teaching hospital.
There are different types of pioneers. You can ask why Lewis and Clark wanted to look on the other side of the Mississippi, or why Neil Armstrong would dare to step on the moon. And for those of us less adventurous, but still equally curious, we want to see what the next step can be to change the pathophysiology, the diseases of the body.
They could not at the time have known about the contributions that unfolded in the laboratories at Mount Sinai.
The Goldblatt kidney is world-renowned. Harry Goldblatt was the chief of pathology at Mount Sinai and discovered the idea that a narrow artery to the kidney could produce high blood pressure. It was ground-shaking research and led to other work in high blood pressure that went on for years. Dr. Matthew Levy, who is the head of investigational medicine, did wonderful work in the physiology of the heart and the blood vessels. There was great work done in surgery there. The first Siamese twins ever separated, and it's a little known fact, and it probably wasn't a very major operation, but were done at Mount Sinai.
The first test tube baby, or successful in vitro fertilization, in the entire state of Ohio was to occur at Mount Sinai.
The surgically prominent Metzenbaum scissors was invented at Mount Sinai.
As time marches on, the folks in Cleveland are going to forget about the uniqueness and the terrific contributions of that institution. So this is a chance for us at the Foundation to amplify the items in the time capsule and to use them as a reminder to all of us of how fortunate we are to carry forward the mission of Mount Sinai here at the Foundation. The activities of the Foundation are very much aligned with Mount Sinai Hospital. Our 4 areas of giving currently include the health of the Jewish community, which of course was Mount Sinai's founding constituency, the health of the urban community, because Mount Sinai was a safety net hospital for the poor, academic medicine and bioscience, because Mount Sinai was a superior teaching hospital, and finally health policy. And health policy because it is not a hospital or a foundation that really is the largest player in healthcare in our era. It is government as the largest payer. And so what government does or does not do has an enormous effect on the populations that we at Mount Sinai care a lot about, namely children and the elderly and the poor. Much has been said about the strength and accomplishments of the Cleveland Jewish community. I maintain that perhaps its greatest accomplishment was the founding and the operating of Mount Sinai Hospital.
Mount Sinai was a gift in my life. It was a place where I could grow and flourish and develop into an accomplished professional. I think it did that for a whole number of individuals over generations, and it represents the Jewish commitment from generation to generation.